Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Regional Alliance Marketplace for Procurement, better known as RAMP webinar. My name is Lakeisha Bearden. I'm the Program Development Manager with the Regional Contractor Development and Bonding Program. We're excited to have you here today to share with you the City of Los Angeles new and improved procurement portal. But before we get started, I would like to talk to you a little bit about the Regional Contractor Development and Bonding Program. Thank you, Carlos. So the Regional Contractor Development and Bonding Program consists of what we coined as our 4 pillars of contractor development. The program's goal is the Contractor Development and Bonding Program assists small business construction contractors with capacity building and business growth. Our 4 pillars: assessment and technical assistance, bonding, contract financing and project assistance, education, training, contractor support, and our prime contractor partnerships. Once you enroll in our program, you will be met with an assigned account manager, conduct a one-on-one assessment. They will identify your business needs, your goals that you're setting within the public arena, and exactly what you want to do within the business. That will assess your needs. You'll then, from there, will create a work plan that will outline how to navigate through the procurement portals within the city, as well as other agencies that we're currently partnered with, Metro and the County of Los Angeles. We also identify specifically other training opportunities that will increase your capacity, find resources with CPAs, or if you don't currently already have a broker, identify a broker that's best suited to grow your overall business. Our second pillar is our bonding and our contract financing project assistance, where if you don't have a broker, we will identify a broker for you, or if you do have a broker, we definitely work with your existing brokers to either increase your capacity or establish contracting, or establish a bonding capacity. We also have access to collateral support for bid, performance, and payment bonds for qualified contractors. We do contract review, project assessments, and field support. We have a field support project manager who will work with you to understand the current contract needs, as well as review any upcoming bid opportunities that you may be interested in. As part of our collateral support programs, projects that do take advantage of our collateral support, we do assist them with navigating through the contract from beginning to the end for successful project completion. We also have our risk mitigation. This works by way of hand-on-hand, one-on-one support with our project field support project manager, who again is doing routine check-ins with you to ensure, as well as perhaps the prime or the agencies, to ensure that you are meeting the demands and needs of the overall contract requirements. We do also have a subsidy for CPA prepared financial statements, and that is considered when your broker does request that CPA prepared financial statements are required for that particular project. Our education, training, and contractor support, we do a host and an array of different education and training training classes. We have an immersion course, 2 6-week immersion trainings on bidding and estimating and contract management, where you're working with our agents, our program, as well as prime contractors to really understand the ins and outs of bidding and estimating with that particular agency. We've done specific training education for the city of Los Angeles, for Metro, and now our new sponsor, the County of Los Angeles. So if you're interested in those types of trainings, we're definitely a vehicle for you to better understand how to navigate the procurement and solicitations that are coming out of the pipeline. We also have our monthly trainings where we provide education and training on certification, safety laws in construction, labor compliance, prevailing wage and PLAs. The list goes on. We really are designing these programs and classes to really meet the means and the needs of the contractors who are looking to grow their overall education, their knowledge, and their capacity. And then we have our Prime Partnership Program. Our Prime Partnership Program really is designed to have our primes really work with us as we work with contractors to educate them on how best to work with our sponsors, but also how to best to work with the contractor, the prime contractors, understanding their pre-qualification requirements, networking opportunities, outreach opportunities. These are all the things that we do to really and strengthen our relationship with our prime contractors, our prime partners, so that we can then provide our smaller contractors with the education they need to really work with the prime so that they can have more access to more opportunity. So that is an abridged version of the overall program for the contractor development, the regional contractor development and bonding program. Now a little bit about RAMP. RAMP provides a one-stop hub for small businesses to move easily and efficiently, find and pursue business opportunities across Southern California. RAMP has replaced the Los Angeles BAB procurement portal and will feature more procurement and contract opportunities from both public agencies and private companies. If your company is not yet registered with RAMP, you can visit rampla.org and register your business today. Now let me tell you a little bit about our guest speakers today. Shannon Hobbs is the City of Los Angeles Chief Procurement Officer, a post created to maximize the value of city resources, protect taxpayer funds, and ensure small and minority-owned businesses are met with opportunities and not obstacles. Shannon has been the driving force behind the development of the RAMP Hub since work started more than a year ago on the platform. She will share insights into upcoming opportunities and how RAMP can be a resource for the small business community. Our other guest speaker this afternoon is Jack Ochoa, President at Infinity GPS. Jack has assisted hundreds of local firms get their certification with state, county, and city agencies, as well as other private sector certifications. He has also helped many companies of all sizes register on RAMP and will share with you how businesses can maximize their presence. So without further ado, I'll turn it over to Shannon. Shannon?
Thanks, Lakeisha. And you pretty much summed it all up. Just make sure you register. This is a tool we're going to get into and show you a little bit about how you can use it and what you can expect from it. It's great to be here in this space. Thank you for the invitation to be here to speak with all of you. Lots of familiar faces and names. It's good to see you all again. Hopefully some of this information is going to be helpful. Some of it will be redundant to some of you, but new for others. So let's get to it. Again, my name is Shannon Hoppus. I'm the Chief Procurement Officer with the Mayor's Office of Budget and Innovation. And we're here to talk about RAMP and what it can do for your business. Next slide. What is RAMP? For those of you that had done business or had been registered with the City of LA prior to this, you may have been familiar with what we called LA Bavin, our Business Assistance Virtual Network. And that was in place for the last 20 years. And that was really the way the city communicated to all of our vendors what we were interested in purchasing. So it was the first line of communication for us to make contact with our vendors and again, communicate our needs. And just for reference, the city actually spends $4.5 billion in procurement. So that is a hefty number that we want to make sure you all have access to and gets distributed throughout our region. RAMP, as we mentioned, it's actually a new platform that replaced Bavin. It is hosted by the City of LA, and it's designed to place multiple solicitation opportunities from both public and private organizations into one platform. This was something that we borrowed from London. They did this during their Olympic Games. They created a platform called Compete for London, and that too aggregated the solicitations from the games into one central platform, therefore making it easier for businesses to identify multiple opportunities in one place. And so the city really, during this time of especially COVID, post-COVID, the Olympic Games, in anticipation of those games and in anticipation of many upcoming large-scale events, this was really a great opportunity for us to look at something that we had developed many years ago and expand capacity. Next slide. And we did that actually just this past February. So any of you that we were maybe in LA Bavin prior to this, you did get moved over into RAMP. So we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. But again, I already did speak of the large scale events that are coming our way, not to mention that LA is home to constant economic opportunity. So this was really a great time for us to go down this path in anticipation of what we have coming our way. And we know that the investment will be big. RAMP alone already is expected to house $10 billion of economic opportunities or of solicitations on our platform. So in addition to the city's $4.5 billion, we will experience several billion more being in this one platform. These are some of our partners that you can expect to do business with. So I encourage you, if you're not on RAMP, get on RAMP. Maybe you're not on RAMP or weren't in LA Bavin because you didn't want to do business with the City of LA. But that does not matter anymore because we have solicitations or opportunities with our many partners listed here. You can see there's a huge sector ranging from financial to real estate to sports and entertainment. We have our Dodgers here in full force. We have other public entities such as City of Long Beach and City of Torrance, as well as the county's mental health department. We also have here Cedars, who is committed to placing $3 billion worth of their procurement spend on the platform, in addition to other hospitals such as City of Hope. We are also talking to multiple other hospitals that are interested in being in this space, really building out a lot of their diversity and inclusion programs. So they have seen the value in accessing the city's database of approximately 80,000 various vendors. And we hope that includes you because that's who they're looking for. They're all looking to do business with you. This is proven already to be a huge resource to even some of our government partners. So again, if you're not on RAMP, make sure you get on it soon. And we'll be talking about how you can do that. Go ahead. Again, what makes it unique is that you can register to do business with the City of LA or the partners that we spoke of. This is also an opportunity to see if you can qualify for various certifications that the city holds. The city will actually certify your business for free, depending on the certifications we hold. If we don't are not able to certify you with our certifications, we can definitely point you to those resources. We will be posting not only our events, but our partners will be posting their events in this space. So even if you're not ready to actually do business with any one of us, this is still a really great space for you to get your feet wet and see who's doing what, seeing who's bidding on what. And even use our opportunities to attend our pre-bidders conferences to listen in on what kind of questions are being asked, what kind of companies are showing up to these events. It's really a place that we hope you will use to start to build relationships. Again, it's back to that idea of a marketplace where you would communicate with one another, build that rapport, build relationships for future opportunities. But again, this is where you can expect our partners to post those other events that they may be hosting as well. So it's really a resource, even if you're not yet ready to do business on this level. But it is a way to connect with other large contractors and see what they plan on working on. You'll also be able to build out your business profile. We encourage you to do that. This is where you would identify your business as well as your NAICS codes. Your NAICS codes or your industry codes, standard codes, are those that identify the type of business you are. And that is what actually connects you or matches you with various opportunities that we all will be posting. And that is also a place that you can build out your profile. So Jack will also speak about it in just a second, but I can't emphasize enough how important building out those profiles is. That's something that we added to RAMP that did not exist in Bavin. And that's really where you can kind of get that LinkedIn experience or the ability to start bragging about your business, talking about your certifications, talking about who you've worked with. It's a space for you to advertise and talk about all the great things you've done and hopefully connect you to all the things you want to do. But with that, I'm actually going to hand it over to Jack to walk you through some of the exceptional features that are on RAMP and show you how to register. So with that, I'll hand it over to you, Jack.
Thank you so much. So, I mean, now mind you, just to be completely transparent, we've as a community been waiting for this for 20 years. So we've been asking for a while, for a minute. So thank you, City of LA and Shannon, for taking the leadership to make this happen, to having one spot where everything comes together. So as you can tell, I'm excited about it because I really like this platform. So what it's cool about it is that it looks a little more modern. It doesn't look as clunky. It looks a little more modern. And we want you to have that same feeling when you get on here, right? The cool part about it is that you can find them right from the word go. You can actually find opportunities for yourself. You can also do it by category. So if you're in professional services or you're in construction, you actually have the ability to sort out just that. In the bottom part of the web, kind of the middle part right here is where we're going to be doing announcements, right? So if there's upcoming events, some of our partners will be putting up stuff on here, including the city will also be including some videos that are going to help do with some additional training that maybe some of the folks will need. So it's going to be on here. So there'll be a lot of training material that's going to be on this middle section. Right below it will be the recent opportunities, right? So if there's an opportunity that is coming up, it's going to kind of put the top ones or the hot ones right for the top. So now what you'll notice, and I just noticed one just the other day, the city of Long Beach was on here. I was like 2 or 3 solicitations. They just came out from the city of Long Beach. I'm like, that's pretty cool. So now we're already starting to see some of that activity. So you want to be a part of that because you never know if they might be looking for something that you particularly provide, a service or a product, including commodities. They'll also be listed on here, okay? So one of the buttons that particularly Shannon mentioned, and I'm personally excited about, is this one button right here, which says business profiles. So one of the things that a prime will do, because I know I did it when I was a prime, is I want to know about the business, right? So in the old system, you only had the ability to know the company name and an address and possibly a contact information. That was pretty much it. The new system gives you the ability as a prime, or if you're a prime yourself, to also sort out, say, okay, I want to reach out to minority businesses. I want to reach out to women-owned businesses. I want to reach out to the LGBT community. So it gives you the ability to do more targeted outreach. So if you happen to be on a project like with Metro, because I heard Metro come up a couple of times. So you're like, okay, well, who's a DBE that I can use? Well, you can go on here and select DBE on the certification, and all the DBEs that happen to be in that category will pop up. That's a pretty cool feature. So one of the cool things that Shannon mentioned in a bit of it is like the LinkedIn experience, right? So anyway, so I personally updated my own profile, say, okay, let's check this out, right? So now, again, old system only had contact information, name of company, and an email address. Look at this now. You literally have your company name, a short description of what you do. I got a little creative. I actually put a YouTube link on there. So sometimes you got to get creative, right? Why not? You have some space to do that. You have your list of certifications. You have your website, an address, contact information, and cool part about it, hours of operation. I saw somebody today actually put Saturday and Sunday. I'm like, well, he was Jack, I'm available all the time. I'm like, okay, whatever works for you, right? If that works for you, go for it, put it on there, right? So anyway, that's what he decided to do. That was fine. So the other part that's cool about that, again, just cool features about this, is that now you list out your NICS codes, again, your North American Industry Code Standards. What does your business do? This is how you're going to sort out. Now you are maxed out at 10, so I would be a little more selective when you are picking your lanes of the codes you're going to use. So make sure you're careful with that one. You do list out your California entity number. So if you are an LLC or a corporation, you get to list it out. You also, for those of you that are in construction or in engineer, you actually get to list out your number. What is your license number? You get to put it on there. That's kind of cool. Employee and headcount. You can now also put in your headcount. Anything under 20, you get to list it out. You also get to list out whether you're Latino or African-American, Pacific Islander, you get to list it out. You also get to list out what type of structure you are, corporation, sole proprietor, you get to list it out on here. This next section is really, I don't want to call it a free-for-all, but that's pretty much what it is. This is where you get to promote your business. So now you're like work history. Okay, what experience do you have, right? So my business has experience working with the city of LA. I've experienced working with a large prime as an outreach coordinator, and also working with Granger as an outreach coordinator. So you're like, well, wait a minute, these are my past history of what I've done. So the other thing that you can do as you're promoting yourself is you also get to list out any contracts you had. So if you had, because I know there's a couple of you on here that I recognize the name, that you're like, well, I've had a contract with Agency X or Corporation Y. So you can now get to list out any previous contracts. So as someone that's been on the prime side, you're like, okay, cool. I now know a little bit more about the business. And I think that's ultimately the goal here, is that you really get to promote you. And I know only because I know Meriwether and Williams does have a class on capability statement, because I think it's part of something that they do. So technically you're taking that document and now you're dropping it on here. I mean, not like a file, but you're taking the same content and now you're putting it on the website, where now you get to promote yourself. And now think about it. We have not been able to do that in the past, but now you're able to promote yourself. You're able to promote your business, which is absolutely key to getting you in the door. So the next step is really, it's about taking action, right? Yes, we can sit here and talk about this great website, but you have to take action. You got to register. That's really the kind of the key to this. You really need to take action and really kind of take it upon yourself to dedicate some time to this. And I will tell you, it takes about 15 minutes. It's not super hard to do. There's some new features that are now on the website that allow you to actually update your profile as your registry, which is super cool. So I'm just like, I'm thrilled when I saw that. I'm like, cool ad, because that was like something you had to go back and forth. That's gone. It's now just seamless, and you just get it done. By the time you get to the last button, you hit and you're done. You're ready to try to get some opportunities for yourself. So I'm gonna open up to questions. Any questions out there?
Jack, one quick question before we look in the chat for any
Sure.
questions that have been posted. I know that we have a lot of vendors, a lot of subcontractors in the chat. Could you talk a little bit about how these individuals could do literally a search for potential primes in their lines of business, utilizing the access that's available through RAMP, how they can look up by NAICS code and literally find a contact name in companies that they may want to network with?
Right. So that's something that I mean, one of the things that I would recommend back in the background while Carlos, if you can kind of block for me a little bit, Carlos, I'm actually going to log into the system and actually show you how it works. So I should have done this beforehand. I apologize. So I'm going to show you real fast how the system works.
While Jack is logging in to his RAMP account, basically you'll find that if you're on there right now, rampla.org, there's going to be a search for opportunities button on top. And there's also going to be an opportunity that you can search for companies within RAMP, and it will give you contact information. And one of the things that savvy subcontractors can do is utilize this access to identify companies with whom that they can reach out, network, make themselves known. If they have, if they're looking for subcontractors, certified small businesses, minority-owned businesses, diverse business, women-owned, under any category, that's a great place to showcase your capabilities and reach out.
Right. So let's talk about a couple opportunities. So I went ahead and went to the home site, and I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick a random one here. Okay. So I'm going to look at one that just recently came out by, let's just pick this one for the Bureau of Engineering, right? So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. So now I can go on here. And again, just a quick side note. So one of the opportunities, because Carlos asked, well, who's the right contact person, right? Maybe this one isn't for me, but maybe I can now reach out to the contact person and say, hey, do you have something a little bit smaller that I can gain some experience with? So why not, right? Why not gain some experience by potentially reaching out to the person who's managing the contract and say, maybe there's something smaller, or maybe there's another project where they can use a company like you. So it's okay to be the sub at the beginning while you're scaling, because I know I heard Mary William talk about a couple of times about scaling and building capacity. Why not use this opportunity to reach out to the contacts that manage these programs? And that way, who knows, they may be the prime that they're working with may say, hey, if anybody reaches out to you, can you send them my way? So that happens a lot. And I will tell you, again, as someone who used to work at Xerox, we used to do that all the time. We would actually extend and actually include more businesses in order to get our percentage participation up. So that happens on a regular basis. So the other thing I wanted to show you real fast was, like, if I'm looking for specific types of companies, I can go right here and I can pick, I'm going to pick on let's pick on minority owned businesses, and it'll just give me all the minority businesses. I can actually go through there, or I want to go through there and I want to pick just DBEs because I'm working on a metro project. Here's all the ones that are certified as DBEs. So you can also sort it out a couple of different ways. You can go up here. You can pick the NICS code where maybe you need some help in, or some areas where they might need some additional resources. So you can do that. So you want to look at it from two sides, right? You want to sometimes be the prime, but a good strategy would be to be a sub, because it actually opens that door and it really gives you an opportunity to get to know the city a little bit. By the way, same strategy can be used on the corporate side. When some of the corporate stuff is on here, the buyer's going to be listed. Reach out to the buyer and say, hey, I'm interested in doing business with the Dodgers or the Rams, and I know that it's on we're close on Metro is going to be on here pretty soon. So, maybe the Metro folks would be somebody you want to reach out to as well. So are there any other questions, or Carlos, that were out there?
Yes, we do have a couple questions.
Sure.
One question is, how does the city, or how does RAMP define a small business?
I believe Angela is posting that information. She can actually unmute herself and speak to it also. Small is not necessarily small, but we do also have emerging. And that I believe is under 20 employees, under 1 million potentially. But Angela, I'll let you speak to those. Or Linda, I know Linda's here too. So whichever you prefer.
Okay, so the small business standard, when we say small business enterprise for certification purposes, it has to fall within the small business size standard that is set by the federal government, which is under the Small Business Administration. So I'm going to put a link in the chat box regarding the size standard to be considered small. However, with regard to certification, there are also other small business, something smaller than small business, which is the micro business or the emerging business. And for the purposes of recognition based on a micro business enterprise from the state of California, that would be a firm that has under 25 employees and gross revenue of under $5 million. So I'm going to put that information in the chat. Oh, there's Linda.
Angela, there's a follow-up question that maybe you could touch on. Somebody mentions that in the past they have changed their business structure, perhaps from a sole operator, and now they are an LLC. Should they go on RAMP and update their business the way that they're operating? Should they update that on RAMP?
Oh yes, definitely. If there are any updates, whether it's your business structure, your address, or anything, because RAMP, your RAMP business profile is like your digital business card. So any updates or anything that changes in your business, you should update on RAMP, because this is the first thing that any of the primes will look for. Or for example, if a city department is looking at your profile, that's where they're going to look. So it's really easy. You just go and log in and you'll be able to update any information. I think Linda's raising her hand. So if you could unmute her.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sorry, I wasn't planning on speaking, but just to clarify what Angela was saying, the definition of a small business will depend on the entity that's putting out the procurement opportunity. For example, the city's proprietary departments, Port of Los Angeles World Airports, Department of Water and Power, all use the federal small business standards that Angela mentioned. However, the council-controlled departments, general services, public works, etc., use different size standards. And so the definition of small for those aligns with the state's DGS small business standards, being 15 million for a small business, which is much smaller than the federal requirements. So again, you really have to look at the procurement entity and see what their definition is. Thank you.
Thank you, Linda. And does that apply also to a micro business?
So the state's DGS micro business, that is what Shannon was referring to with regards to the emerging business. The micro business size standard is 5 million or less. And that is also the size standard we are now using for our local small business certification.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And one more question. How would we know if our business is considered small or would qualify to list on RAMP? And I think there, maybe Angela wants to jump in, but just know that as a vendor, you can register on here at any time. whether you want to pursue opportunities with the city of LA or other entities. So the registration on here is completely open and it's completely free. So that's why we're inviting all types of businesses to get on rampla.org.
Yes,
And
again, all businesses of all sizes should be here because in addition to the city of LA, we're going to have partners here that have all kinds of needs. We were talking to one potential partner yesterday who was really interested in accessing our artists for murals that they wanted done for their large company that we all know very, very well. And that was the last thing I would have thought that they needed. I would have never expected them saying, hey, do you have does your database have artists in it? And we thought, wow, that was really odd. So that's the thing, is that we don't even begin to know what these partners could be needing. In addition to the fact that the city of LA, especially with BCA leading this our Board of Public Works and BCA leading this path in terms of what we call community level contracting. And that is the unbundling of these larger contracts into more bite-sized contracts. So many of the subcontractors can have the opportunity to compete as prime contractors. So that's the point, is we're all working to find different ways and share best practices in accessing companies of various sizes for various opportunities. So there's really no reason you wouldn't want to be in RAMP, if only to use it as a resource and tool to better understand the environment. You don't lose anything. It's free. It's free information. And if this is a space that you want to be in, this is the place that you need to be.
Thank you, Shannon. And one more thing to note: as folks register on the platform, you will start receiving notifications of procurement opportunities within your NAICS codes, and you'll be receiving notifications of training sessions and opportunities to participate in webinars where we'll be sharing information on RAMP. And you'll also be exposed to some of the small businesses that are having success working with these public and private sector contracts. So it's not only to be on the platform, but also to receive updates and receive information on other companies that are doing a great job registering here. Lakeisha, will be turning it back to you in a few moments. So just wanted to give you the heads up. But I don't think we have any additional questions right now. Jack or Shannon, any closing remarks before we toss it back to Lakeisha?
I think for me, I just want to add that, again, use this as a tool to better understand this environment. Back to the fact that this is where our partners are going to be hosting their outreach events, where we have several partners that are going to be doing some mentoring programs. So that might be of interest to you to go through one of their mentoring programs. This is really a place where we can information share, and again, get you up to speed and ready to contract with the city of LA or a number of our other partners. And we're continuously adding to this space. There's a lot of interest in how to access and diversify these partners' vendor pools. They don't have to be in this space. This is not required of their agencies. Many of them are not required, like government entities, to post their opportunities in a public environment. They are choosing to be here because they are looking, again, to diversify their vendor pools. So make sure you can be found by improving or registering on RAMP, and then improving and enhancing your profile so you can best be matched for the opportunity that would be right for you and your business.
I guess
Thank you,
my last comment would be, make sure you update your profile. If you're not sure how to do it, once you're logged in the system, you'll know. You go right here where it says My Business Profile. There's a big gigantic button here that says Edit. Click on Edit, and then you can make, if you're going to make some modifications, That's where you can make it at. So it's super easy to use. I mean, I'm like, this has just been mind blowing how easy this thing has been. I was a little worried at the beginning, but then when I saw it, I'm like, this is perfect. This is exactly what we've been asking for. And so what better to leverage this opportunity to basically grow your business.
Excuse me, Jack, could you go to an opportunity page and show them what information they can get on an opportunity, like where to find the information of the contract administrator or where to find pre-bid meeting information?
So the contract administrator technically this is the person who's actually managing the project is right here. And then the actual solicitation is actually further down. So if there's going to be any kind of, you would actually download this particular document. So once you would download it, it's usually on page 1 or 2 is usually where the typical information is, where there, any pre-bid conferences. I would advise that you keep your eye on dates, especially if they're going to be any Zoom calls, or if there's going to be a job walk. You want to be mindful of, because there are folks still doing job walks. Okay, I know we're being a little careful about job walks, but they are still happening. So when you go on one of these where it's an actual construction project, a job walk may be required for you to participate. And in some instances, you have to show up to the pre-bid conference in order to participate. Not always, but that's a 50-50. That sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they'll actually, one thing that does happen is anybody that registers or anybody who attends, the facilitator will actually post those people as far as who showed up. And so that becomes an opportunity for you to reach out to that group of people who participate. And those are usually listed as a second button right here. So scope of work, and then the attendee list will show up right below it. So that's another opportunity that you need to look out for if you're going to be responding to a solicitation like this. So here's a perfect example. They even tell you, this is where you need to call. Here's the link. And it's, notice the word mandatory. Mandatory. This one in particular is mandatory. So you have to show up in order to participate.
Thank you, Jack. Lakeisha, I'd like to turn it back over to you to close us out. Any final words that you may have for us?
Yes, thank you, Carlos. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate your time in attending today's event. A special thank you to Shannon, to Jack, to Linda, as well as Angela. Thank you all for facilitating this event today. If you have any additional questions about the RAMP program, if you're not the RAMP portal, and you're not already currently enrolled in the Contractor Development and Bonding Program, please enroll today. You will be assigned a dedicated account manager who will help you navigate through the RAMP portal. Contact Jack. They will work together to work with you to really understand the ins and outs of the portal, because it's really important for you to understand where opportunities are coming from, how to be seen and be visual. As we're walking, going back into face-to-face outreach opportunities, there's still an opportunity for you to be visible via the RAMP site. So it's important to make sure that all that information is updated. Our program is at no cost to you. We are sponsored by the City of Los Angeles and Metro and LA County to offer these services to small and diverse construction businesses. So we really want to hold your hand through this process. It's important that you understand how this can truly impact and grow your business if you take advantage of the resources being provided today. So thank you again, everyone, for joining. We look forward to really maximizing our overall capacity by utilizing the RAMP, the new city's portal RAMP. Thank you.